Hey guys, hey crew, how you doing? Welcome. Pardon my podcast absence for the past couple of weeks. I don't really have any excuses. I just been trying to fit 30 hours of project stuff and life into 24 hours. And like the movie title, Something's Gotta Give, the podcast took a hit. And for that, I apologize. And I hope that you've joined me here because you got a few minutes out on the road, you got a few minutes jogging, you got a few minutes doing laundry, you got a few minutes, period, and you decided to learn a little something and listen to me. So I appreciate it very much. Hey, this week we are talking landscape project budgets, especially those of you like me that are on a very, very tight budget. One that almost scares you, like how could I possibly get this done type of tight budget. And certainly not a landscape project that's a pot of strawberries somewhere on the back patio. And I'm talking more than a little dink daily project, and yet probably smaller than a huge scorched earth backyard makeover. Somewhere in the middle. One that takes hundreds of dollars, if not low thousands of dollars. But as you will discover today, maybe there's an option out there that can save you several $1,000s over the long haul of the project and still leave you with a few bucks in your pocket. Hey, I am glad you're here. Let's explore this option, one that I have come to know very well since last fall, and I hope it works for you. You may very well be aware of it, but maybe you haven't really thought about it too much as far as a landscaping resource.
Hey friends, Maestro here. Please check out the description for this podcast where you will find important links related to this video as well as links to the website, discounts, and much more. Also, don't forget, Yard Coach now offers personalized consultations to help you get your project launched and completed or just answer your specific landscaping questions on a personalized level. See the website at youryardcoach.com for more details. Now back to this week's episode.
I'm glad you joined me. I sincerely enjoy bringing some of these aha moments that may inspire you to take on landscape transformations in your landscape, big or small. Hey, welcome back, and thanks for staying with me. Hey, since October of last year, 2023, Maestro and I purchased Brook and Pond. It's nothing super fancy. It's a small 2.5 acre piece of property with a small house and a garage on it, up in northern Maine, in the United States. After traveling for 4 years, it was time for another base camp. And it certainly was not going to be California. I had big plans for the place. I really did. I was so freaking excited. Believe it or not, we were excited about getting off the road, and we really wanted to do things to the house. So, fall 2023 ebbed into winter, which the only project that I found was mastering my walk-behind snowblowing technique, and then also embarking on the interior of a garage renovation. And none of that garage renovation saved me any money. That was 100% retail, start to finish. As much as I tried to look at this other resource, it just wasn't out there. Not enough to do the whole job anyway, and to get in and get it done type of thing. So what we discovered being homeowners again, however, was the huge inflationary costs that have absolutely bombshelled the construction, retail, green industry, and home improvement industries. We really hadn't made much of any purchase at all since, I would say, 2018 or so. And man, as you guys are probably painfully aware, I was actually quite gobsmacked. Things that I was so accustomed to seeing at, take for instance, a 100-foot roll of 4-inch corrugated drain line. I can remember getting that in California at a cost of probably around 40 some odd dollars, 40-ish something. And now it was $90. Come on, really? It really takes away the fun of a landscape project when you have to swallow a bitter pill like that. Now, to clarify, no, I have not lived under a rock for the past 4+ years. I am aware of recent inflations in all of our lives, in all purchases that we do. The stupid governmental management and other causes are basically, yeah, they're to blame. Let's just say it what it is. They're to blame. And all these costs are passed down the line to you and I. But with so many home improvement goals that we had to take a real serious second look at what we could and unfortunately could not afford. Plus, what was, for the time being, absolutely necessary to do. Something that is going to bolster our outdoor living, bolster the look of the place. We're not going anywhere soon. So, hey, if we had to put something off for a little while, okay, we're going to do it. So, Plan B options were going to be paramount. And that's the topic of this week's lesson, so to speak. Enter Facebook Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace was really something very new to me when we got Brook and Pond. I was really a noob to the platform altogether. I have not been a big fan of Facebook. I have certainly not a fan of the founder either. But the marketplace part of it, I found intriguing, and it turns out useful for our landscaping needs of what we were facing. I really thought about it long and hard. And I looked at it for hours and hours and hours on the long, dark, cold winter nights that northern Maine is famous for, because you couldn't do anything outside except maintain the snow level around your house, stay warm indoors, and hey, talk with you guys. Our area it's rural. It's not heavily populated. I think our whole county, our county is big as Rhode Island and Delaware put together, but very sparsely populated. I think we only have 40,000 people in the whole county. So our area is limited on budget-friendly options when it comes to nursery stock, bulk landscape materials, and a variety of things landscape-wise in general. There's basically 2 retail nurseries in the whole county. One is a genuine mom and pop, and the other is a box store in the color of blue. That'll tell you what's there. And my gosh, going down and looking at gallon can material. Number one, the big box store doesn't even have a nursery during the late fall, winter. It doesn't even open until the first part of May. The big box store, it does not have any nursery stock in there in the wintertime. It has a few Christmas trees at Christmas time, and that's about it. But when they do start bringing stuff in, holy cow, it was a shocker when you start looking at mom and pop perennial, gallon can perennials. They want $16, $17, $18 a piece for them. And even the box store, you had gallon can perennials, gallon can shrubbery that are in the teens. And I started doing the math and bringing out the calculator. And I'm just going, oh, hell no. No. This is not going to work. I'm not going to be eating pork and beans because I put an $18 perennial in the ground. That's ridiculous. It really is. It's not good money management. It's not good futuristic thinking. And honestly, what we have from Mother Nature is pretty on its own. It's just the ornamental side of the yard that we wanted to dress up. So also, the cost of hardscape material like rock and gravel, lumber costs, irrigation components, which they're there at the box store, but I'm used to a little different brands, a little different way of obtaining them. You just can't find anything at a reasonable rate at all. So last fall, hey, Facebook Marketplace. Our very first purchase was because we have a 12,000 square foot lawn that we had to take care of. The previous owner just let grow wild for the last month or so. Idiot. And we started looking at 46-inch, 42-inch ride-on mowers, that kind of stuff. brand new, 2,700 bucks, right? Yeah, no, that wasn't going to work at all. Facebook Marketplace, hey, I found one for a reasonable $425. It wasn't the prettiest thing. It really wasn't. It had obviously been left out most of its life, so the paint is all faded, the seat is cracked. So hey, we got a new seat cover on it. I changed the oil on it. It came with 2 new blades on it, which was great. The belts were tight on it. The kid who had it, you know, he used it for mowing lawns in his little business, and he got rid of it after he made a few bucks. Yeah, 2 or 3 years. No, it wasn't even 2 or 3 years. I think he had it for 9 months, and then he decided to get rid of it. So we hooked up the small trailer, went down and got it. And she's still running good today. You know, I just mowed the lawn last night. So $2,700 compared to $425. And it's not just a ride-on mower. You can find lawn mowers. And really, as long as it runs and runs well, everything about a mower is the blade. You know, learn how to sharpen a lawnmower blade. Learn how to put one on, how to take it off, how to disconnect the spark plug while you're doing this stuff so you don't accidentally turn the engine over while you're doing it. You know, it can save you a lot of money, especially if you're a first-time homeowner. You know, and things are tight. I can definitely remember a mortgage payment that was over half of the household income. And man, when it came to landscaping the backyard, doing drainage lines and other things that we had to do fast right now because they were threatening the foundation, yeah, everything was DIY. And back then, costs are relative. We were able to locate and source stuff that wasn't nearly as expensive as it is today. So let's move on to another application that I have used Facebook Marketplace for, and that was our creek restoration. Now, part of the restoration that we did, it didn't cost us anything. I just had to take a chainsaw down in there and cut up some stuff, neaten up some stuff, reinforce a couple of banks, put in some timber into the creek itself to slow water flows down when they were flowing big. They're certainly not flowing big right now. It's been very, very dry. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at a big lawn right now that could really use a drink really bad. But we got some coming supposedly by the weekend. But what I did need, and I didn't have a job big enough for a 10-wheel supply of rock, which would have run about $650 for a 10-wheeler, 10 tons of rock. I didn't need that much. And so I turned to Facebook Marketplace, and lo and behold, bam, there it was. Free rock in a nearby town that we go to all the time. And the guy was getting rid of all this rock on his front yard embankment as he was going to dig back into it, put in a much more formidable retaining wall, and widen his driveway. So he put it out there. I was not the only one that arrived, I'll tell you that. There was at least, during the time we picked stuff up, at least 3 other folks that came in and picked stuff up. But I ended up with 2 large pickup truck load of good-sized rocks. I mean, basketball-sized rocks in or around that size. They were heavy, and it was some sweat equity, let me tell you. But $650 versus the cost of fuel and time to go down and get it, bring it back, and put it in. And that ended up to be about $30 altogether. And that included a Subway lunch for 2. So it wasn't too bad at all. And then the retaining wall that I did at the culvert of the creek, I backfilled with a lot of the tailings that came out of the drainage project that we're doing, especially the backyard perforated French drain that I put in. And so that soils I took down there, backfilled, walked into the forest, pulled some ferns and some clintonia and some wood violet. I got some forest duff and mixed it into the soil. I got a little bit of planting mix, bag planting mix that I had here, and planted it up. And what I need to do right now is I just need to top dress it to make it look a little more ornamental temporarily. And then let Mother Nature take its course down there. But in total, for 30 bucks, not too bad compared to $650. Now, onto plants. You know, we all want to talk about the greenery. We want to talk about the pretties. I estimated the cost of the plants that were on my design if I went small, didn't go, you know, balled and burlapped, box specimen trees, none of that stuff. The biggest tree was going to be a 15-gallon tree, and everything else was probably going to be gallon can plants. We were talking close to $6,500 for plants. And I just, after I picked myself off the floor from fainting, I said, this is not going to happen. This is not going to work unless I have a long lost rich uncle somewhere that I don't know about, or if I go down and rob the local bank, just kidding, or go absolutely viral on some YouTube video. Yeah, we're not going to be able to afford that right now. That's just not what I want to do with $6,500. Enter again Facebook Marketplace. Hey, there was a guy in a nearby town, about 9 miles away, and him and his wife were downsizing from their 3/4 acre property. They had just a spectacular front yard and backyard for years and years and years. Beautiful perennials, beautiful lawn, everything. And now they're downsizing to a condo. They're in their 70s and she can't take care of things. Long story short, what they were doing is they were going out there and potting up a lot of the perennials that they have taken care of. Hostas and daylilies and liatris and hens and chicks and autumn joy sedums and all kinds of things that are perfectly okay up here in Zone 4. So I saw it on Facebook Marketplace. I went over there when we went into town, and hey, I struck a deal with the guy, and $4 a piece for gallon can plants compared to 18, and they were all perfectly healthy. They were, as a matter of fact, I could probably divide the daylily and the liatris again right now. The hostas are going to need a year or two because they were pretty much divided. But these other ones, I mean, there's such a big root ball, I could probably divide them, but I'm not going to do that probably till next year. And I spent a total of $125. And if I had gone down to the nursery and purchased the same things, it would have been over $700 plus sales tax. So score again for Coach. I mean, I was able to knock out part of the plant acquisition for very, very little money. You know, in looking at Facebook Marketplace closely and checking out various landscape needs that you may have, there are a lot of options out there. I also noticed the more populated areas, which is not us again, the populated areas of our state and other states, there's a lot more variety of things that you can choose from that would be landscape applicable. And the pricing competition actually suppresses the price just a little bit compared to what I'm having to suffer through. Okay, so man, if you get on there and you say, hey, you know, I'd really like to redo our patio area and redo the surroundings of it, blah, blah, blah. I know almost every single one of you know about this platform, but maybe not for the same reason that I have become aware of it. You really can landscape start to finish using Facebook Marketplace. You need hand tools, you can find them there. You need grass seed, saw it just last week. It's there. Want planting soils in bulk? Yep, you can find it there. Now, let's back up a little bit. To be clear, there are a lot of retailers that advertise their wares there as well. I know that. But I'm talking about the Smiths or the Joneses wanting to get rid of their block retaining wall for next to nothing or free. You just have to put in the work, which for landscape projects is honestly good training. It really is. I would say on average, and I am by no means an expert on this, but Facebook Marketplace probably is a 50% discount store or more in many areas of landscape and gardening needs. Plus, every once in a while, like I showed you the example of the riprap rock that I picked up, And every once in a while, you can get 75, 80% off, like I did the mower. And every once in a while, you'll see things for free. And they might need a little something. If someone's getting rid of a block retaining wall, maybe 40 feet of block retaining wall or 60 feet of block retaining, and they're not asking for anything, you just have to put in the sweat equity, and you get there and, yeah, they look a little aged. They've got a little green algae or something on them. So what? Take a pressure washer and wash them off, and they'll look damn near brand new, and you can plant them up and mulch the beds behind it and do it, and I'll guarantee you it's going to look 90% new. It's certainly going to be new for you, but the blocks themselves will look new. You just have to put in a couple extra hours, and you may have the time and you don't have the dollars. So there you go. Right now, we're preparing to get blueberries this week for $12 in a gallon can, compared to $24 to $48 for a 2-gallon can blueberry at a local box store, which, by the way, is 45 miles away. Peach trees, saw them last week. Cherry trees, saw them this week. Now, there's not a huge variety, because up here in Zone 4, you don't get a lot of the variety that can hang in there on some of those really bad winters like you can in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 zones, okay? But hey, they're like 30 minutes away. They're 50% or more less than a retail store. And you just have to, you have to take the time to look, inspect, scrutinize where necessary. But I think you get a feel for the people who are selling, and are they honest, and are they on the up and up when they're selling their stuff. We've been really fortunate. We really have. I mean, we've asked if things are available. They've gotten back to us in reasonable time. We've scheduled pickup times. We've been fortunate so far. And I think people who are selling rock aren't there, they're not meth heads necessarily, okay? They're good people just trying to either make a buck or get rid of stuff that they don't want to have to deal with. Are there crooks and thieves? Yeah, there'll be crooks and thieves always. They'll always be out there. So just buyer aware and people aware. Maybe you don't go to someone's house that you don't know by yourself. Maybe, you take your spouse, you take your sister, you take your brother, you take your dad, whatever, and you go check it out. And if everything smells good, looks good, tastes good, okay, do some business. Another example, and this isn't really landscape related, but another example is the Weber barbecue that we just picked up. Basically, brand new on Amazon or at the box stores for $275. This one was $150, only 9 months old. Came with 2 bags of charcoal and several accessories. Okay, so it was a $275 worth of stuff for $150. So I call that a score. I really do. Fencing material, if you need fence material, you can look on there. There is lots of fence material up here in our area. I don't know about where you're at, but pottery, plant seeds, plus an endless list of other items that would be available to you. Cuttings, even rental power equipment or equipment for purchase like rototillers, mowers, even excavators, tractors, etc. Sky's the limit. Now, another option is your circle of influence, your family, your friends. Instead of, if things are super tight, maybe you can't afford to go out and buy a half a dozen new hand tools in order to start digging and picking and excavating and doing stuff. But maybe dad has, maybe bro has, maybe Uncle John has, whatever. Borrowing tools is an option. Offering to clean up overgrown grandma's backyard and all the perennials that she spent pennies on back in the day, you can rip out, but you're going to keep a percentage of them for those perennials for your yard, dividing them for your use, learning to root cuttings and getting permission to take a few of mom's whatevers, rooting them up in a small 4-inch container or whatever, and being patient with it, because maybe it's Maybe it's going off into winter time and things can root in over the winter and you can plant them next summer, but you didn't have to pay for anything. You get what I'm saying? You got Uncle Joe, who has that lumber pile out there forever and has never done anything because he's a damn depression baby and he doesn't want to throw anything away. But maybe Uncle Joe will allow you to get 150, 200 board feet of 2x4 so you can form up and pour or form up and create a little 12-inch paver patio, because you can use the 2x4s as the forms and find the 12-inch pavers on Facebook Marketplace and the sand from the Smiths who want to get rid of the pile in their backyard, and boom, put it all together. You get my drift. Another source, and I used this many years ago, is asking companies or municipalities like tree companies for the trimmings and the chips that they create every day when they go out and do their work. I did that in NorCal on several occasions, got to know a couple of local tree guys and asked, hey, would you be willing? And they were glad. They were overjoyed to have a place where they could come and dump off a couple days worth of cuttings. And I ended up with well over 20 cubic yards dumped in my driveway. I couldn't use my garage for 2 weekends. But with this little sweat equity, 2 weekends of shoveling, I got it for free. And that stuff did wonders for the backyard soils. They broke down over the course of a couple of years, kept the weeds down really, really well. It was a mixture of, it wasn't bagged bark, but it sure did work, and it sure did turn on the soil gods under there, because I had more earthworms and redworms and decomposition and all kinds of stuff going on there until I sold the house. It really did. Something to wrap this up, I receive emails and comments all the time about, I need to do this or I want to do that, but my budgets are too tight, my resources are too small. They get restricted in a lot of ways. And I get that. I really get that. I'm right there with you. But this alternative that I've talked about has opened my eyes to a budget-friendly avenue of options that is going to allow Maestro and I to move forward just a little faster. Maybe not as grandiose, maybe not as big, but we're still going to be able to do things. Maybe in the future, maybe some of the costs out there will moderate again. I kind of doubt it. Once things go up, they always go up, but it will never be cheaper than yesterday. So explore options that are slightly different. Don't try to lowball folks if you go talk to them. You insult people, they're just going to get out of my driveway. There are reasonable things out there that are worth the dollars that people are asking. Be a good judge of what things should cost, considering what you're looking at, their condition, their age, and what would you be paying if you went and got it brand new. I really believe that when I've shopped on Facebook Marketplace, the very first thing I do is I go to whatever. I go to Chrome or I go to a box store thing and I punch in how much it is now, and then I look at it and I go, okay, they're asking 40 cents on the dollar. And hey, see if we can do business. And in some cases we have, in some cases we have not. And then you get something, say you found a source of a bunch of 1x6 boards, fencing boards. Maybe they're dog-eared fence boards and they're old. You may have to pull some nails and stuff, but you take that stuff home, you pressure wash it, you clean it with some fencing bleach, you restain it, you put it up, and lo and behold, you can put together a whole new fence for very, very little effort, except for some of the painting or pressure washing or fence bleaching materials that you may need to do it. But you could do it, you can do it, so it all depends. Restoring it and enjoying it for another decade is very, very possible and not much cost involved. One thing that I see all the time now, especially this time of year in June of 24, is lots of patio furniture out there. You look at the retail stores and see the cost of a patio furniture set, and then you see Lucy down the street is selling hers for 10% the cost because she wants to go buy retail and get something new. And what she is taken care of because she comes from a generation who actually value what the hell they've paid hard-earned money for. And it looks okay, and maybe the color's a little off, but you can bring that home. You can pressure wash it, you can scrub it up, you can repaint it, maybe put some new cushions on it, and bam, you've got a new patio set with probably an umbrella, and you only paid, 10 cents on the dollar. I mean, patio furniture is horribly expensive nowadays. So tell me, reach out to me and drop me an email. Tell me what treasures you have seen or have picked up out there that are kind of garden landscape, related. I think it is fascinating how, with a little bit of effort, a little education, and know-how, how folks like yourself can embark on a landscape project and stay inside one of those tight budgets and still come out looking like they shop retail for everything. That's what I got for you this week. Until next time, keep your eyes open. Drop me a line if you have any questions. Thanks to those out there who have made some purchases this past 2 weeks. And I will see you guys soon. Hey, by the way, check out the lawn care article that old Coach here was a contributor to in the U.S. Sun, of all newspapers, both here in the U.S. and over the pond. I did a little contribution to that. It was kind of a neat article. I was kind of proud of that. As always, to your landscape success, don't forget to check out the website, youryardcoach.com, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for staying with me. Bye for now.